I am going to start at 2 just in case we don't have anybody else show up, okay? Welcome, Lucas. Okay. I show 2 o'clock. I'm going to get started right away. Thank you for joining us on our second meeting of the Digital Design Club. I'm so thrilled to have you guys here. We had some people turn in some photos, which I'm pleased to announce. And I'm so glad to see that you guys are getting out there and getting some photos taken. That's great. Let me go over what we're going to go over today, and then we'll get into the meat and the potatoes of the meeting. So our agenda, I'm just going to review the overview of the club and what it's for. It's not a course, it's a club. Some of the projects that we're doing, photo trends, I'm going to revisit that, as well as get that photo target audience and the processes. I'll review character education, so in case you have a really artistic side and you want to be a part of the character education for every month for the school district, you can. Our upcoming meetings, timeline of what we're going to do for this meeting and next meeting, and then just a thank you at the end. So really just a short meeting. So the overview of what we're doing and why we did it together is it's Virtual Photo Manipulation Club for high school students. So we just meet once a month, but we want to share photos. That's the basic idea behind this. We want to share photos. We want to also edit those photos as much as we can and share those edits with one another to be more creative in what we're taking, the pictures that we're taking. Now, sometimes the pictures can speak for themselves. Other times they need a little bit of help. So we want to make sure that we can do that, and we can share that amongst ourselves and discuss what we like and what we don't like. And there's Gavin. We're welcoming another person in. We are a creative club. We want to get our creations and productions included in local competitions. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be competitive. It just means that you want to at least take some kind of photo or manipulate some kind of photo to where you can do something with it. Depending upon whether it's in a competition or if you just want to share it with the group, that's fine. I don't have, and I wanted to ask your opinion about this. I don't have officers for the club. I thought about doing that, but there's not that many people, and I would feel like maybe it would be a little bit too much. So if everyone has an equal voice, I think that would be much fairer in the long run, and everyone has a voice about what they see. They can be critical as long as it's constructive, critical of what they see, and things that can help us to get better at photography and can get better at digital design and editing. The one thing is, if you are interested in getting into like the digital league competition that happens during second semester, you must be enrolled in a CTE course. I know that Mr. McNew has a digital imaging course that you could be a part of. So if you're not a part of it this semester, maybe you could next semester. There are other courses that are considered CTE as well, like programming. So as long as you're a part of those particular courses and you're enrolled in them, you can enter into the digital league competition and maybe have your artwork displayed. That would be, I think that would be cool. Maybe it's just me. I think that would be cool. So I'm going to start with projects. So students will choose projects in which to work, ranging from small projects like taking photos out amongst in your community, in your home, right outside your home, someplace where you have permission to be. I want to stress that you need to have permission to be where you are. If you're out in public, then of course it's a public location. Just be very, very aware of your surroundings. It's best to take a partner with you so that they can be your lookout. Not saying that you're doing anything wrong, just to make sure that you're not always going to be able to look behind you while you're getting that perfect photo. So just keep that in the back of your mind as well. The bigger projects are going to involve using Photopea, which I did put together an overview tutorial on Photopea, which is a photo editor and launchpad that all of you have access to. It's the closest mimic to Photoshop that's out there, and it's free to you. You don't have to pay for it. Now, if you want to get Adobe Photoshop, you can. That's totally up to you, but there's a cost involved. There's a monthly subscription involved. I don't want you to have to put out any money unless you so choose to do so, and that's completely up to you. I use Photoshop on a regular basis. I use a lot of the Adobe products on a regular basis. So you'll notice some of those things as we go through the school year. So speaking of projects, we start with one, charity. I thought this was an amazing photo. I gave some feedback on it. I was so pleased to see it. It was the first one turned in. And here it is. Really great work of framing the sign, the Sunoco sign, underneath that arch. Just fabulous framework. The colors are there. It's vibrant. You've got a lot of great lighting all the way around. You can see everything. Just a really well taken photo. Good job. So proud of you for doing that. The more of those that you can get, the better. I'm not saying go out and find a bunch of gas signs per se, but the more times that you can find a subject that you can make sure you get the best lighting possible. Lighting is very difficult to get in photography. You might find a subject and it might be shadowed, and it kind of eliminates a lot of the detail that you can see. Your eyes are going to see a lot more of the detail than your camera's going to see. You can also choose to use your phone camera. They work really well. They're advanced enough now to where they can take really good photos. Or you can choose to use an actual handheld camera like a DSLR, the single lens refraction cameras as well. So that's up to you, whatever you want to use. Let's see. The next one is Gavin Morales. Gavin, I know you're here. You uploaded 13 photos. I love it. I looked at every photo and I gave you a lot of feedback on the ones I thought were your best shots. Hopefully you got a chance to see my comments to you. If you didn't, just drop it. Take a moment to go into Google Classroom and you'll see those responses from me. I
did see your comment. In fact, I responded to it.
Oh, thank you. Great. I'll take a look. I really liked your photos. Is it
You're
okay
welcome.
if I share some of them? Is it okay if I share some? Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. So here are some of Gavin's photos. I put together some of the ones that I really appreciated. A lot of good use of lighting and color, a good use of taking the photos and either doing a landscape view or a portrait view. I really like the fact you use the framing of the tree for your walkway. You can really see a lot of depth in that photo, and it leads the person who's looking at the photo right down that walkway. Really good job. Great eye. Good eye on the sky. I mean, it was beautiful. Just beautiful. You did a good job.
It's my birthday too.
Oh yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I also liked the street scene that you did with the trees along both sides, and it gives perspective as well. Really nicely done, a good look. You could have just stood on the street and taken the photo, but instead you went off to the side, and that shows a good photographer's eye. Way to go.
Yes.
Way to go.
Thank you so much.
The heron, there were some shadows on the heron. It was a little bit blurry, I will say that. It was a good capture. It just didn't get all of the detail that you probably saw. You probably saw a lot of detail. But the camera didn't pick all that up. Yeah, the camera didn't pick all that up because there wasn't enough lighting close by the heron.
I don't have a lot of good cameras. They're meh.
Well, that's okay. You did a great job, though. These are excellent photos. And there are more than just these. So, Gavin, you did a great job, sir. So what are we looking for when we're looking for photos? It depends. You can get a photo and use some kind of AI to enhance it like I did with this video. That's just my car. Or you can go outside and take photos that have different color schemes, or you can composite photos together to make your own composition. Really easy to do. It takes a little bit of time and effort, but it's worth it in the long run. So those are just some photo examples for you guys. And of course, I want you to upload as many photos as possible. Here's the thing, you're going to take a lot of photos and you may not think much of every single one of them, but some of us may think that they're amazing. And we want to get that feedback from everyone in the club. So what's a photo trend? Have an idea of something in your mind. Picture something that you would like to see and then go out and find it. Now, if it's something really super specific, that might be difficult, so you might have to plan those things out. But find something that works for something that's in your mind already. And every time you aim the camera, you don't have to take a photo. That's one thing I learned a long time ago. Just because you're aiming the camera doesn't mean you take that photo. You have to aim and look around with the camera to get a really good angle. Sometimes, like with Gavin's picture of the street, taking it just on the street doesn't work as well as going off to the side and giving it more depth. That was really well done. So think about the time, what you want to take, and then find those subjects. And it's okay to accumulate a lot of photos. And you don't have to upload every single one. Upload the ones that you feel are the best that you took. One way is to find a subject to your photo. Find one subject in the photo itself. And that's the thing I want to leave you with for this month, is when you're taking photos, make it of one subject. So the subject could be an insect, it could be a wildlife, it could be a person, it could be an object, anything that's just the subject of that particular, sorry, I just got a notification. Anytime you get a subject that's of that particular interest, and it's an interest to you, it's going to be of interest to us. Because once you take that photo and you share it with us, we will have an interest in it, just like you did. Try to keep the photos capturing one subject at a time, and really pay attention to lighting. It's really important that your item or your subject has as much lighting on it from all angles as possible. That's why sometimes you may see, like in the background, when sometimes on TV shows, they zoom back and you can see the actual camera people working, and they have people standing there with these squares that are reflecting light because they're pushing light towards those subjects so that everyone can see them better. I'm not saying go out and get a light box. I'm not saying that, but I am saying make sure you have as good of lighting as possible for what you're taking photos of. Think about your target audience. Who is going to see your photos? What are they going to see? What are they going to take from it? Are they going to take the same thing from the photo that you did? Probably not. Unless you make it very readily apparent what your photo is supposed to be about. They could be of something in action, or it could be something still, depending upon what you want to do. You can also show movement without there being movement on the photo itself. For example, I'll use Gavin's picture again. There's movement in that road as it makes that turn to the right. Even though there's no movement going on in the photo, we still have a feeling that there's movement in the photo. Find suitable subjects for all ages, because our target audience is all ages. From youngsters, I mean, they could be as little as 3 years old, to senior citizens. It just depends. And your photo can get all that traction as well. And that's what I'm hoping to do for you, is to provide some of that opportunity, let's just say, for your photos to be out there for people to see. The process: select a subject. Enhance the original photo as much as you can, and maybe even composite images by putting one image over another or adding a filter over an image. Things like that. The next time that we meet, which is going to be next month, I will be going over a master class of using Photopea. Just going through and showing you how to put pictures together and how you can filter them, enhance them, and really do some good, fine work with that. I didn't want to bore you with it today. I was hoping to get more photos, and I'm hoping that we get more. So the folks that are here, maybe you can get out there with your camera, take some photos for us, and submit them in. Now, character education is going on every month, so this is really more artwork related, not necessarily photo related, and that has been the case historically. That doesn't mean that we couldn't take a photo and put a quote on that photo to match that particular month. Like, for example, January, November 17th is the due date, if you wanted to be a part of this. And the word for January is commitment. And in the January commitment, there's a definition that shows what it is, binding yourself to a course of action despite obstacles. And then there's a quote from Abraham Lincoln. You could include that on your photo and submit that as a character education work. That could definitely be part of the artwork. So we can do that. We can do that all the time. You don't have to be a part of a CTE club. A CTE course to do the character education works. So we can just submit those as we want. So if you take an excellent photo that portrays commitment or honesty for February, courage for March, integrity for April, that's what those words are. Just put the quotes on there and you'll be good to go. Do you have any questions about the character ed? Because that's something that's new. I did mention it last time we met. And I'll make sure that this is on our Google Classroom so you can go back and look at it. So our next meeting is December 5th. So we've got plenty of time. We've got Thanksgiving break in between. You can get out there and get some amazing photos, especially if you're traveling, and you can go to places that actually have fall. Not like Florida. We have fall, but it looks like spring and summer and winter. So it all looks the same. Find some ways to get some photos. The photo that's pictured on here is a composite. It's just taking the photo of out on the street, and then they had a picture of a person, and they put that street photo inside the person's head. That's all that comes down to. But it's just how it's presented. It's a composite, and it's presented in an artistic way. Those are the kinds of things that you can do with Photopia. So our timeline, I wanted to share originals today, which is what we did. Discuss individuals taking photos, get some visions for possible new images that you might have on the horizon. Next time we get together, I'll do a master class on photo composition using Photopia off of your Launchpad, so that way you can get in the habit of using it as well. It is very similar to Photoshop. That's why I don't mind using it, and it's free. That's why I love using it. If you want to use other apps on your phone, you can. Just remember that most apps will put a watermark on your images, so it will say what particular app did the image. So that's the only downfall to those. If you pay for the app, that's on you. I'm never going to ask you to pay for anything to do. If you're going to take photos with your camera, there's no need to put on there that it was taken by an iPhone. It's just going to be the picture. But if you use an app, it's probably going to put a watermark on your photos. Just be aware of that. And that's all for today. Do you have any questions for me? Not at all? That's fine. Keep in mind, there are comments in the Google Classroom. I will answer them if I see that you have a question. Submit photos as much as you can. When you take a bunch of them, find the ones that you like the best and submit those to Google Classroom. And next time when we get together, we'll share some more photos and we'll talk about how we can use them and even composite them. All right. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, I'll stick around for a minute.